Hi, it's Dr. Shaunna here with FAQ Friday Book Blog Edition, and I'm covering a new look at an old staple book of mine, one that you probably have likely heard of, and that is Loving What Is by Byron Katie. And if you follow the Wayne Dyer, Louise Hay genre, you likely have heard of Byron Katie. Amazing. And she has this revolutionary process called the work. And she applies it. So if you're struggling with something in your life, you feel someone shouldn't be treating you a certain way, these circumstances shouldn't happen, my kids shouldn't leave the socks on the floor, I will never lose weight because I have a crummy metabolism, you apply 4 questions to it. So for example, it's on page 19, there's the 4 questions there. And they give a ton of examples where you think, that's got to be true, and no. So for example, I will never be able to lose weight because I have a crummy metabolism and everything I eat goes straight to my thighs, say. That's your thought. So then you question that thought and you apply this to it. So is it true? And you could say, well, yeah, it is true because I've never been able to lose weight and it's always going straight to my thighs. So then the second question, can you absolutely know that it's true? Well, it's not absolutely true because we don't know. It's possible something could change where I would have a better metabolism or that there is something else so it's possible that it's not, that I would never do that. So you just start to question that thought. And then the third one is, how do you react? What happens when you believe that thought? So when you think that you're never going to lose weight, it's always going to be on your thighs, you feel depressed and you feel hopeless and you feel frustrated and you feel despair. So then the fourth question is, who would you be without that thought? Without that thought, and turn it around and find 3 examples of how the turnaround is true in your life. So who would you be without that thought? Well, if I didn't have this thought that I could never lose weight, then I would be hopeful that maybe that something could happen, that I would be looking for a solution rather than just turning off and not looking any further because I'd given up. And looking for 3 examples of how that turnaround is true in your life. Well, you can say, well, there was that one time when I actually was able to lose some weight where I was eating cleaner and healthier. And there was that other time that I was really active and I felt good. And I really know my best friend, and she was just like me, who couldn't lose any weight no matter what she did. And she was able to lose 100 pounds. So maybe it's possible for me. And you've turned it around from sort of a hopeless case to really having some hope. And it is really, it seems like a simple little crazy, silly thing, how could asking yourself 4 questions, but it's really about that critical analysis of your thoughts. That monkey brain, that crazy brain that runs away and has you believe things that are not necessarily true. They're repetitive, they're familiar, so we think they're true. And you may not, and I just use a silly example of losing weight, but it can be much more powerful issues or much smaller issues. And I know that working with other entrepreneurial business partners, this process has been absolutely amazing for their success. Because if you think you can't succeed, you'll never succeed, so-and-so is able to do this and that, then you're kind of stuck. But if you question it and do the thought work, and you know that my core statement for anyone who's working with me is, your job is to feel good. Your job is to feel good. So if you have some thoughts that aren't feeling good, then apply this 4-step process to it. Is that true? Is it absolutely true? And who would you be? How does that make you feel? And who would you be without that thought? And look for examples where that's not true, and that the opposite is true. And then you can apply, and actually you end up turning it right around, doing the turnaround, and thinking the opposite, which is what you're wanting to. And it really is a great way of scrubbing and cleaning up those thoughts and questioning them before you just go over the same thoughts again and again and again, and it really does make you crazy. Anyways, I urge you to check out Byron Katie and the work. You can check her out on Facebook and on the web, and her book, Loving What Is. If you have not checked it out, check it out. If you have checked it out, and I know a number of you likely will, leave some comments below. What was your experience? Have you ever tried to do that? How has that been for you? All right. With that, have a fantastic week and be good for you.